Going to be taking a look at my newest piece of gear, the Sawyer Mini water filtration system. We'll also be comparing it to its predecessor and a favorite of mine, the original Sawyer .1 squeeze water filter. As the name implies, the Mini is smaller, but there are some other differences that I'll point out as we go. And for those of you on the fence, I'll kind of try to give you the stats for both, the weights for both, and by the end of the video maybe you can decide what to do. For me, I'm primarily, if not exclusively, using this for backpacking, so that's going to be my main perspective, but I'll lay it all out there for you. So let's get started. First things first, size. You can already see these in my hand, right? And let's put them next to point of reference. There's a pack of Post-it notes right there. Neither one is terribly bigger, but you can see a little extra width on the original Sawyer squeeze, much skinnier, especially in the body here on the Sawyer Mini. Naturally, we have to look at weight as well. Now, one quick note before I get the weights on the screen there. Both of these are slightly damp, so when you get it at first and it's bone dry, it's going to be lighter. This actually weighed 1.3 ounces when it was bone dry. It's probably going to weigh more now because there's just a certain amount of moisture in there. I shook out what I could, but this is probably more realistic because how often will your filter actually be completely dry? So first up, the Sawyer Mini, and it weighs 1.769 ounces. Let's call it 1.8 ounces, or for those of you into grams, 50.14 grams. Again, that's slightly damp, so that's about the most it's ever going to weigh. The original clocking in at 3.25 ounces, 92.34 grams versus the 50 on the Mini. So you're looking at not quite double the weight, but close to it in weight savings. Also, because of the size, this would lend itself, I would say either one you could throw in a pocket, but this would slip much more comfortably into your pocket. Now you may be wondering why that's a big deal, but for winter hiking, you do not want your filters to freeze. Generally, that's a bad thing for filters. So if there's potential freezing, just slip this thing in a breast pocket or side pocket, whatever, somewhere on your body. Keep it warm, throw it in your sleeping bag overnight. You won't even notice it's there, and you'll keep that from freezing. So this will be a little more adept at sliding into a pocket and staying warm in the winter. This one, doable, but definite advantage there. Bags, well, there's really no comparing that between the two systems because they both interchangeably use the same bags. Same threading on the end of both of these systems. And the bags will run you for a 16-ounce bag, 3/4 of an ounce, all the way up to a 64-ounce bag. Clocks in at an ounce. Had to use my larger kitchen scale to do that. Now let's keep talking about bags real quick as far as comparison goes. As far as what you'll get with the Sawyer Mini, I'll lay it out right here. You get one bag, it's 16 ounces. You get the filter, you get a backflow system that works with both of the filters. We can get into that later. You get a straw attachment for drinking directly out of a water source. Run you about 20 bucks for that right there. Now the original Sawyer, two different choices in configuration nowadays, but back when I bought it, there was one choice, and it came with 3 bags, a 16, 32, 64. So I already had these bags here from before, so I was good to go. If you want to buy more, they're like $7 to $12 depending on the size you want. And then there's another configuration you can get nowadays where it comes with one bag just like the other one, and it also comes with all the parts you need to attach this to a 5-gallon bucket for large volume applications, as well as a faucet attachment. So say you travel to Mexico, you just can faucet attach this right to the sink and filter right from the tap. So that is a pretty cool advantage for this system. On the flip side of that, the Sawyer Mini is more adept at inline systems, meaning, as you can see from the attachments here, you can hook this right onto tubes. You can have a gravity system with water tubes running to each, or you could work it directly into a hydration system either via some sort of DIY application, or I've already seen they're selling them that are designed to integrate the Mini into it. And basically with an inline system, it filters as you go. So there's endless opportunities to set up different creative systems for that. So that's pretty cool with that. Original Sawyer, that is possible. There are kits out there to turn this into an inline system, but again, this is going to do it right out of the box. Price for the original varies based on what flavor you want to go with. It's like 30 bucks if you want it with just one bag. It's like 35 if you want it with 3 bags, and then like 50 if you want it to come with all that fun stuff for faucet mounting, the 5-gallon bucket system, as well as the bag. The filters in both are the 0.1 system. 0.1 means the micron size of the pores in the filter. So the smaller that number, the more bad guys it's going to get out of there, basically. At 0.1 microns, you're filtering out virtually everything in terms of bacteria, cysts, and protozoa. So E. coli, salmonella, giardia, all that nasty stuff, it's going to get wiped out. You're not going to get rid of viruses. None of your backpacking filters are going to do that. If you want to worry about viruses, you basically better do a chemical treatment. I don't care what brand you're looking at. Yes, it's possible to go even tighter than 0.1 microns, but you're not going to see them in portable backpacking filters, so I'm just not going to get into that. But do pay attention to that. Some filters out there are 0.2, some are 0.1 like this, some are 0.3, like the Katadyn Hiker Pro, I believe, is a 0.3, so just something to be aware of. But with 0.1, you're basically at the highest level of filtration for a backpacking filter. Now, as far as viruses go, the general ideology I see out there is that not an issue in North America and Europe. So, probably good to go with just this. Now, the type of the filter is the same, but as far as life expectancy goes, this is rated for 1 million gallons life expectancy. The Mini is rated for 100,000 gallons. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know, but basically what they're telling you is 10 times longer life for this original Sawyer squeeze than the Sawyer Mini. But if you ask me, for most backpackers, 100,000 gallons, you're going to lose this thing before it goes dead, basically. And for $20, I think I'm okay with 100,000 gallons. So that's not really an issue as a backpacker. Let's go over general use real quick, and that's basically the same on both. The gist of this system, for those of you uninitiated, you're simply going to take a bag, find yourself a water source, screw it on, fill it up, flip it over, either drink directly out of it or squeeze it into a bottle. Same idea for both systems, unless you have this inline, in which case you just, suck on the drinking tube, or you could use the drinking straw, an emergency situation, pop it on there, and pop that in the water source and just drink directly out of the stream. Pretty cool. Now, some people will point out, oh, well, if there's standing water, you're completely out of luck. I've never had that be an issue. Yes, it's most convenient to find nice, fast-running water, but then again, isn't that always kind of nice to have fast-running water? In which case, these bags will fill up just like you got a faucet. But even if you find a puddle, all I do is simply carry a water bottle with the cap on and the bottom cut off, very lightweight, compactable, and you can use this as a scoop. And you can scoop right out of the puddle, pour it into your dirty water bag, and filter as normal. Simple trick. Not the end of the world if you have to get it out of a small puddle, even the smallest of puddles. Now let's talk maintenance. This syringe, and I think I forgot to mention this with the original Sawyer squeeze system, but that comes with this syringe as well. So either system, you'll get one of these syringes for cleaning. It's called back flushing, and basically what you're going to do is get yourself some clean water out of a bowl, cup, whatever. And in the case of the Sawyer Mini, it'll be slightly different. You're going to hook it up in reverse order of the flow. So from the clean end, you can see it seals kind of on there nice, and then just squeeze. And if it was full of water, it would blow a bunch of clean water in reverse direction out of there, and that's how you clean it out. For the original, same idea, only you'll just plug it right into there with the syringe that came with that one, force it right through, clean it on out. Again, you can take these out in the field with you if you're on a longer trip. But I never do. Save yourself the weight, and I just do this when I get home. Now, you may hear some people saying that, oh, the bags fail and whatnot. I can tell you in my personal experience, I've never had a bag fail on me personally. Also, you'll notice this is a newer bag. This is my original bag about 1.5 years ago. Supposedly, they upgraded these to be a little stronger seams and stuff, and these do seem sturdier, so that's probably helping as well. But even with the old bags, like I said, I never had a problem with it. My main tip for you is I like to do more of a rolling than a squeezing the heck out of it. There's basically 2 speeds with these filters: gravity and squeezing. You're not going to get it to go any faster by squeezing it harder. You're only going to burst that bag. Now, there was a time on a recent, actually, backpacking trip in West Virginia. My friend Mike was with me. He was kind of put in charge of filtering water, and he had a style that, let's just call it less patient, a little more aggressive. And sure enough, on the second day, he did spring a leak out of the corner of this bag here. So it is possible, if you get too aggressive, to burst these. But like I said, use a rolling motion, be gentle and patient. It'll go just as fast, and I've never had a bag burst by following those rules. Cost, we already kind of touched on, but basically you can get 2 Sawyer minis for about the price of the original Sawyer, depending on the configuration you choose. So about 50 to 100% more for the original Sawyer. In fact, compared to other systems out there, like say a Katadyn or an MSR filter, which run 80 to 100 bucks, you can get 4 or 5 of these Sawyer minis, 1 for each person in your crew. Everybody be filtering their own water for the same price, probably the same weight, if not less. So there you have it. That pretty much covers all the bases. Final verdict, I love them both, but I'd say from a backpacker's perspective, I would recommend the Sawyer Mini. Might as well get that lower weight and lower cost. And if you're more of a stationary, high volume application, then I would go for the original Sawyer Squeeze. But either way, great system overall. I'm digging it. Till next time,